ultimately your thoughts and your emotions will affect your nervous system, and your nervous system is connected to your fascia, which is your connective tissues.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Hardwood podcast, where we talk about your craft and the culture. This week, I am joined by Jesus Padilla. He is a sports massage therapist out of the Los Angeles area. And we're going to touch base on how he got started, where he got the nickname Muscle Wizard, and we're going to get to the root of the problem and what's the philosophy behind root healing. That and much more. Stay locked in. Jesus, welcome to the podcast.
Well, thank you for having me, Rodrigo. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Jesus Padilla. I am the founder of Root Healing. I'm a sports massage therapist based in Los Angeles. I've been doing this, since I was 19. I started off doing gua sha, which is another traditional Chinese medicine technique, and it just evolved to this. And I'm 30 years old. I grew up in the city of Southgate. I'm very passionate about physical health, mental health, emotional health, basically a holistic approach to healing. That's like anything and everything that's healing. That's what I'm passionate about, man. So thank you for having me on the show, bro. I'm looking forward to, seeing what we talk about.
Oh, well, we're going to talk about a lot of things, man. But first things first, man. Why you on your IG page, you got, your name Muscle Wizard, right? So, I could tell you firsthand, man, like, whatever you did, you got some special ability to kind of heal others. So, how that came about, and when did you find out that you have a particular set of skills that you could actually, use your hands and help others with it?
For sure, man. Well, a magician never reveals his secrets, but the muscle wizard part, I just recently added that. And I think, not to toot my own horn, but I feel like sometimes I do create magic. Some people come in with some dysfunctions that are pretty severe.
No, you do.
That's they come out of there feeling great and they're feeling amazing. And, it even shocks me sometimes. But it's hard to say when I discovered my gift or when I knew I had this gift. But, like I told you, I started when I was 19, and I'll be honest with you, at the time, I didn't really have a high self-esteem. I didn't really see myself as competent. You get that impostor syndrome and all that. But, with time, you get better and you start getting rid of those fears. And it wasn't until maybe about 3 years ago where I actually fully removed fear from my life, for that cycle. So once I removed that, then my gifts started evolving even further.
When you mean your fear, you mean as far as kind of just being yourself?
Yeah, just, truly wholeheartedly just being yourself, man. Yeah. Because sometimes we try to put up an image, to satisfy others, and we don't really discover ourselves. And I think for me, I had to hit that rock bottom, just break yourself into millions of pieces and put yourself back together. And that's how you rediscover yourself.
Yeah, when you say rock bottom, did you put yourself in a corner and you kind of maybe felt like you don't know exactly what you want to do, as far as the next, as far as your career?
Right. So it's a long story, but I think it's worth telling. So massage work has always been my side gig. It wasn't really my full-time gig up until maybe 3 years ago. I used to actually be a counselor. I used to be a community college counselor.
Oh,
I have my master's in social work. It's a long story, bros. But, I think at the end of it all, I kind of was living in my parents' shadows. They came from Mexico with the 5th grade education. They didn't have a college degree or anything like that. So I wanted to get that college degree.
Right.
And a lot of it's society pressure, to get a higher education. And I did. I ended up getting my master's degree. I worked in the field of social work, worked in the field of disabilities and all that good stuff. And it was cool, but honestly, emotionally, mentally, I wasn't fulfilling my purpose. I felt like I had more gifts to share with the world. And it just, I don't know, I felt stuck. I felt like, man, I went how many years? I don't even know, 6-7 years of schooling to get to this point. And now I feel like I'm still not where I want to be. Yeah. And, massage work was always my passion, but I thought in my head, that whole imposter syndrome, I can't make this a full-time living.
Right.
It's hard. Right. It's hard to survive in this field of, any field of entrepreneurship or just being self-employed is difficult,
Right. Yeah. And you brought up a point as far as after school and everything, you felt like that wasn't right. You needed to find your passion, right?
Right.
What was it like? What was it that kind of led you that you fell in love with being a massage, as far as doing massages and just using your hands? Like,
Right.
what made you fall in love with that?
I think what's satisfying is just seeing people come in a certain way and seeing them come out a different way. So it's kind of like they come in raw, like,
Yeah.
and I put them in the oven and they
Yeah.
come out baked.
Yeah.
But it's just it's satisfying to see people heal, to see people, to see them genuinely happy and satisfied with the results. I a lot of people watch those chiropractic videos where people are cracking their neck or that pimple popper. It's satisfying to see people receive some type of healing or satisfaction. And I feel like that every time I work on someone, I feel satisfied. Like my heart is full, my energy is recharged. But it all started, like, the reason why I even got into this was my own healing journey. Growing up, I had a lot of injuries. I was very injury prone, very weak, always getting injured, man. I played soccer for most of my life and I dislocated my leg. I, twisted my ankle a million times. I pretty much gone through all the injuries in the book, except for like breaking a bone, knock on wood. But, and I actually had tendonitis. I don't know if you've ever heard of that condition, but it's basically on your forearm. I couldn't grip. I couldn't work out. I just felt like fire in my forearm. And I kept, at the time, I wasn't very aware of sports massage. I wasn't aware of anything, man. So I went to the doctor. I was like 17 at this time. And the doctor just kept prescribing me ibuprofen, naproxen, the painkillers and the anti-inflammatories, but it wasn't really getting to the root cause of my dysfunction.
Yeah, just like a Band-Aid.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I kept asking, like, well, is there another solution to this? He's like, it'll go away on its own. And that was always, always it. Eventually I did get physical therapy, but even then, bro, like, it wasn't working. So then I discovered gua sha, which is a scraping technique. And I do that to most of my clients, depending on what issues they have. But it's basically a scraping technique where you use a tool. I use a stainless steel tool. They call it Graston or there's so many names nowadays. But originally they used to use a soup spoon in China. A lot of times you see people use like a jade stone or rose quartz stone.
Oh, really?
Essentially, it's like a rounded edge tool and you scrape the area. There's different techniques of scraping, but what you're trying to do is promote blood flow to the area and to try to break that dysfunctional tissue or that tight fascia. So I discovered that. I started doing it to myself. And I kid you not, in less than a week, I was 100%. Just breaking that tissue down. I wish the doctor would have educated me upon fascia, connective tissue, but I'll be honest with you. I don't even think these doctors, no offense to any doctors out there, but a lot of them are just trained in prescribing pharmaceutical and not to discredit them, but I think they just don't have time. Like, it's just everything's so quick. And
you feel like it's just, if they really wanted it to maybe get to the root of somebody's issue, right? I think it's not just a 30-minute visit.
Right.
What can you do in that time, right?
Even then, it's not even 30 minutes. You
would dedicate sometimes hours if you want to get to, actually get down to the issue, right? What is your problem? Not, for example, you show up and it's like, hey, why is this happening to me on a regular basis? Mm-hmm. Well, this and that. But here's this, and this will get you, it's, boom, and then
exactly.
You forget about it, time goes on, and then your problem becomes deeper.
Yeah.
And then it's like, you can't go back, right?
Well, it's like, honestly, like, pain, as much as it sucks, it's our friend. Pain is our body or our nervous system communicating with us, telling us, hey, something's wrong. It's like a sensor. Like, we don't have car sensors, but we do have pain sensors. And if we're just blocking that sense, then we're just blocking our own intuition. Because it's like telling us, hey, there's something going on here. Please help me. Like, nah, we're going to block you. And that problem just persists. And it keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And like you said, like, there should be more protocol. There should be education to the clients, like, to prevent this from continuing, rather than here, take this pill.
And that's a whole nother podcast just talking about that. And you know what I mean? But I want to kind of, go back a little bit and like, how did you... Like, there's a question that, a lot of people ask, especially when somebody's really good at something, right? So, like, are you born with it or are you taught, right? So in this case, were you born with this skill as far as kind of healing people and, you know, doing your massages and these techniques, or like did you teach yourself, or did somebody teach you?
Right. I think it's a combination of all those. I think everyone as a human being has the power to heal others through energy. And everyone just has a different way of healing, whether that be like through therapy, whether that be through art, music, you know, dance, like a dance instructor. That's a form of healing, you know? So everyone has their own way of healing. I would like to think that I was born with this gift because it comes naturally. It just flows.
So you just started like your first ever, like, did you start on yourself, or did you like you mentioned you did kind of when you had your soccer injuries, but like when you had somebody, right? It could have been your dad, your mom, your girlfriend, or whatever. And did you try on them first as far as kind of, you know, these techniques?
Right.
You know, like,
so like growing up, I've always was going to sobadores, like old school Latino sobadores, hueseros, all that good stuff, right?
Vete con este,
In the hood, right?
Yeah,
you
the
show up. Exactly. You should, anywhere, man. You just show up and you get like 20-minute massage, brutal massage, and it hurts. But no, like, you know, aside from learning from, you know, in school, when you go to massage therapy school, and you know, you get the theory there, you learn the practice, but you don't really start learning until you actually start practicing out in the field.
Right.
So I feel like, you know, in the beginning, I would give away free massages, like just like, hey, mom, dad, you know, friend, anyone, like whoever wanted a massage, like come through, come be the guinea pig, you know. But, you know, over time, you just get better and better, and you start polishing your skills. You start taking more certification courses on cupping, stretching, gua sha, active release technique. There's so many different techniques.
You start kind of leveling up.
Yeah, you start leveling up your craft.
Right.
You start fine tuning it.
And at what point did you realize that you mastered your craft at some point, right? You're like, okay, you know what? You know, I think it's time to open this thing up to a little bigger scale. At what point did you realize that?
I mean, honestly, I feel like in any skill, you can never really truly master it. You can be really good at it, but it's always like a learning process. But I think when I started really becoming comfortable with my craft at that level was maybe like 3 years ago, where I started doing more house calls. So basically that's how I started out, doing house calls, going to people's houses, setting up, and doing my work there. And now I have my own practice. So obviously over the years, you feel more and more comfortable and you evolve. But I think maybe 3 years ago where I actually really, really felt comfortable with working on anyone and any dysfunction. But it takes years. It takes a long time to, you know, get to a high level in this field.
So when you're talking to your clients, right? Now, you know, you get clients. How much would you say, like on a weekly basis, you think you kind of have clients? How many clients?
Oh man, it really depends. It could be anywhere from 40 to 55.
Oh, okay. So all right. So 40 to say we're gonna go on the high level, 50, right? 50 clients a week, right? So multiply that by 4. Well, what is that? 9.
Well, actually, like 50 would be on a really, really like, you know, high week, but maybe anywhere, I kind of exaggerate right there, maybe anywhere from 30 to 50. It just really depends.
But let's just, but either or, 30 is a lot, right? For like, you know, at least coming from somebody that doesn't do massages and stuff like that, and then you have, you know, you're yourself, right? As far as...
Wait, did you say a week or a month? I'm tripping.
Oh, I mean, week. I said week, but you know.
All right, yeah. And I probably got my number. I see like on average, maybe 5, anywhere from 4 to 6 people a day. Yeah, so I'm really bad at math. I apologize.
Oh no, I mean, so
I see a lot of people though.
But let's say 30 a week. Right. You could say that at least, right? So, I mean, in a month, I mean that's like 120, 100.
That's a lot.
But if you look at it like that, right? You just take a step back and you look at it, and it's like, damn, like that's a lot of people that I'm helping out, right?
It's a lot of energy.
Yeah. So, what are some of the things that you recommend your clients, right? Like, and they come in and they have this issue, because you know most of the time you could say that they probably have a similar issue, like as far as like their back.
There's a lot of commonalities for sure.
Right. So what are 3 things that after they come in and they're about to leave, what are 3 things that you kind of like recommend, or you kind of mention to them, like as far as like, hey, you know, this is...
Stick to this path, do these things.
But like, because I have a question after this one, but as far as like, right, like we were talking about the doctor, right? Like how, you go see the doctor and it's like, oh, here, like, take these, right?
Right.
So now reverse back here, we have, root healing, clients come in. What is that transition after that, right? Like, because it's not like, you do your massage and that's it, right?
Right.
Where I'm going with this is that when I left your place, it wasn't like a one and done.
Right.
Like, you send me messages, you send me like stretching videos, stretching like techniques, right? So it's like, okay, continue this. It's not just like here and there, right? So what are some of the things that you recommend your clients? And as far as showing like, all right, you're teaching your clients how to apply this in their life.
Right. Yeah, you make a good point. It's not just like come get the massage and you're cured. Like you need to put in the work because you're sitting with yourself 24 hours a day. So the decisions that you make on a daily basis are going to influence your tissue and your muscles and your body. So, you said 3, but there's probably a lot more. I'm going to just kind of go off
like
the top of my head.
Yeah. Just say some of the things that you say, like, man, this is like common, right?
Yeah, first things first, like, please drink water. If you don't drink water, then you're probably gonna die. You need to drink water. Yeah. You need to hydrate your tissues.
That's one thing that even like in high school, man, it was horrible freaking drinking water. Even to this day, I have to like force myself to drink water because it's not like, you get caught up, especially me. I get caught up doing something,
right? And
it's like, damn, I haven't drank water in like 4 hours,
right?
So it's like, fuck. But like shit.
Or you don't want to be using the restroom because we're driving or we're always like on the go.
How much water are we supposed to drink again? Like,
I don't even know, bro. As much as you can, man.
Like, 5 gallons or some shit.
There could be a point where like you drink too much and it's bad.
Yeah.
But honestly, like if you drink a glass every hour, you should be fine. I think, just kind of listen to your body. If your pee is yellow, keep drinking water until it becomes clear, That's what that's the rule of thumb right there. But definitely, drink water. Stretching is important. Definitely, I always recommend stretching, but not just stretching, but mobility.
Yeah, that was something you mentioned. Like, as far as like, I was like waking up, right? I was told, drink a glass of water when you wake up and stretch. But when I mentioned that to you, you were like, yeah, that's okay. But you took it to another level.
Right.
Talk to us about that mobility.
So, like my routine is like, I'll drink a warm glass of water, get some lemon in there or some lime, drink that. And then I'll start doing some movement. So like when you wake up, it's just like a car. When you turn on like an old car, you need to let it warm up. You can't go straight into punching on the gas. So same thing with stretching. When we wake up, if we stretch right away, our body's not ready for that. Our body's still kind of like, calentando, warming up. So what I like to do is mobility. So like I'll move the joints, whether that be hip circles, move your arms up and down, do some arm circles, like just basically the stuff that they taught us in like elementary school. Jump, like not jumping jacks, but you get me, like just movement.
The stretch, touch your toes.
Touch your toe. Like instead of like actually touching your toes and staying there, like touch them and come back up, reach into the sky, like, just move around. Get your, more importantly, you want to get your spine moving. So they're like in yoga, they got cat-cow. So cat-cow is one of those spinal movements that are very important. A lot of back pain comes because people don't move their spine. They're sitting all day, stagnation, so the energy doesn't travel. So definitely drinking water, stretching, mobility. I think another big one is just being aware of your own thoughts and your own emotions, because ultimately your thoughts and your emotions will affect your nervous system, and your nervous system is connected to your fascia, which is your connective tissues. So the more stressed you are, the more depressed, or all those negative emotions, the more your body's going to be guarded, and your fascia, your connective tissue is going to be tighter. So you're going to feel like all that pressure on your neck, like you're carrying the weight of the world.
I get that a lot, man. Especially because I'm behind the computer, 7 to 8 hours a day,
editing videos.
Yeah. So like right here, man, it's like I get it like 3-4 times a year, bad. Like it just like starts. Oh, damn.
And let me ask you this: do you feel like it's worse when you're stressed out?
Oh, I think so.
Like it makes it worse. Like you just feel it more. I mean, that's when honestly, I don't really get a lot of neck pain, but when I'm stressed, I feel that pinch on my neck. And I already know it's like, fuck, I'm doing it to myself.
That's funny though, huh? Like we get stressed out, right? And you don't even know it sometimes. Sometimes like my wife be like, "Are you stressed out?" Like, fuck, I am. But I don't feel like I'm stressed out. And sometimes it's not like you're stressed, it's just that you just in the back of your mind, you're like, you know something's coming up or whatever, and it's like, shit, and then like you don't even know you're stressed out, and then you don't do anything about it.
So that subconscious mind, like the shit that we have kind of stored back there that we don't want to deal with, it pops out.
What is something that really, like, at the end of the day is like, man, that's like, I do this for a living, right? Like, does it ever kind of
trip me out?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, it's something that's, I feel like is unique, right? So when you're doing that stuff, and at the end of the day, like, I was gonna ask you, like, do you feel exhausted? Do you feel tired? Like, do your hands feel like sore? Like, or do you even, like, is it nothing, like, for you, right? Because right now we just got done doing what you could say 2 sessions, right? And I could see that your hands, like, you're using your hands and your fingers a lot, right? So say you did like 5-6 a day, like, are you tired, or your hands feel tired, or how's that work?
Man, I think every day is different. Sometimes I'll work on 6 clients and I'll feel okay. Yeah, of course you're gonna have some pain in your thumbs and your fingers, but it's like growing pains, like anything. Over the years you get better at it and you become stronger, just like any type of training. But sometimes I work on 1 person or 2 people and I'm exhausted. And I think a lot of it has to do with energy. And I feel like I'm a very empathic person, so I absorb energy. Like, I'm very much, when I work on someone, I put all my energy, not just physical, but like everything, bro. Like, I legit want to see them, feel good, feel great. So I feel like I pour all my energy into it. So sometimes I'm like physically drained, sometimes I'm emotionally drained,
So remember, before I got to your office today, you were dealing with somebody, right? And it was like, man, you would think like, God damn, is he actually like hurting him? But he's not, right? It's actually, you mentioned it's like a deep tissue. It's a different type. The one that you did to me was, I mean, obviously my first time, but with that other person, you mentioned it was like a more deeper, it's more intense.
Veteran, yeah. So like everyone's different. I kind of, all my sessions are customized depending on your pain tolerance, depending on your dysfunctions. So not every session is the same. This guy, he has a higher pain tolerance and he really likes deep tissue. So I basically customize it. So like if you're a type of person, you're very sensitive and you can't take too much pressure, that's fine. We'll work with you. Because the thing is, if I'm doing crazy amount of pressure and you're like screaming and you can't take it and you're guarding yourself, then I'm not able to get there deep. Like I'm going against the grain.
You're not relaxing the muscles.
Exactly. You're not relaxing the muscles. But this guy, he's able to fully relax. And he grunts and makes noises. I mean, that's fine. I feel that's great that he does that. And I encourage anyone who gets a massage to release. Like, don't worry about what the therapist thinks. Like, oh, I'm grunting or I'm making noise. I mean, obviously you don't want to scream super loud, but it's a release. You want to surrender to it. You don't want to like hold on to that. You want to just let go, melt to the table. If something hurts way too much, of course, let your therapist know. And your therapist should be checking in on you often anyway.
Now, something you mentioned kind of caught my attention is when you're using your energy, right? And sometimes you have to use a lot of energy. Kind of elaborate about that.
Man, it's
like, it's not like you're using some superpowers and like, here you go, right? Talk to us about like, what do you mean by that energy? Because you mentioned that earlier before we even got started with all this, as far as energy, right? So elaborate what you mean by that.
Man, I mean, energy is one of those things you can't see, but you can feel. And sometimes you get clients that come in and you can feel their energy is not it's not all there. Like it's depleted. They're tired. They're exhausted. Their pain is taking over their lives, and those are the people that I put more effort into. And I'm like, you know what? Like, all right,
man. So I gotta ask you, when I came in, did I look depleted or what?
No. I mean, everyone's kind of like on different scales. Yeah. I wouldn't say you're depleted for sure. I get some people who, man, they walk in and I'm like, all right. I treat everyone the same, but either way, some people just need a little more.
We mean love. Depleted? You mean physically or mentally or both?
I think it's both. It's a combination of everything, man. Because like energy is it's in everything, right? Yeah. So for sure, like you can just feel it. Like you don't even have to see it in their face. Like you could just feel that they're exhausted or tired, and yeah, man. And sometimes I feel like that too, right? So I get massages weekly. I trade with other therapists and I practice what I preach. Everything I recommend to my clients, I do myself because, you have to, like I said, practice what you preach and hold the line.
So let's get into kind of like the more technical stuff and the process. And so some of the methods that you do, when I came in, I was oblivious to it, right? I don't know what exactly this is or what that does, but for example, your process, right? The cupping, right? The types of cream that you use, the types of tools that you use to, get down to that deep tissue. So talk about some of the steps and the methods that you use for your practice.
Right. So like I said, like everything depends on the client, but like on a common session, I guess you can say, I would definitely use my lotion. I have a CBD lotion available as well. And basically CBD, what it does, it helps with inflammation. It helps with relaxing the nervous system. Basically just calming you down and preparing you for the massage. It helps with inflammation. I also include the red light therapy. So the red light therapy is now a base. So it comes in with every session. And what red light therapy is, it's a low level beam light. It doesn't harm you. It's not like UV where it'll cause cancer. What it does is it gives power to the mitochondria. And the mitochondria in your cells are kind of like the powerhouse cells. It gives energy and it charges them up. The mitochondria soaks all that and it helps with tissue regeneration, inflammation, circulation, calming the nervous system. It has so many benefits, bro. So I include that for free in all my sessions, and the CBD is an add-on. But aside from that, I do gua sha, which is a scraping technique that I explained to you a little while ago. It's to help for circulation, breaking down that dysfunctional tissue. I do deep tissue. I use my thumbs. I use my fists, my forearms. So that's another way too, how, you become less tired physically is you use all your tools, right?
Right. You're using everything.
Exactly.
You're using the leverage of your body.
Yeah. You use your weight. And over time, you get better at that. In the beginning, you find out the hard way, through injuries and all that. I've injured my wrists, my thumbs. Yeah,
it's like sports too. Exactly what angles or what position your body needs to be in order to be ready and to, do what you need to do. So in this case, you're balance, right? Yeah. Knowing what angles are better for you and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So I think it's already kind of muscle memory for you, right? It's easy for you to okay, let's you just go in it without even thinking about it.
Exactly. And sometimes, I have to catch myself too, because my posture is not the greatest when I'm massaging, because you sacrifice yourself. You're in the moment, you're thinking about the other person, and you lose yourself. But, I always constantly remind myself. I wear a posture brace to keep me like upright, things like that. You just get better. You sink or swim, it's like you just evolve. Another technique that I use is cupping. Cupping is traditional Chinese medicine. And even now it's more evolved. They call it myofascial decompression. There's this group on Instagram, they're called Cup Therapy, and they just evolved the practice of cupping. They basically incorporate movement into cupping. So back then, cupping was just like you just lay there. Yeah, you just lay there. You get a glass and you get some fire. Maybe your grandma did it to you.
I remember some of the. I did one chiropractor that he would do that, not knowing what the hell he was doing. I didn't know what's this guy doing,
right?
And I was kind of like, okay, it looks cool, whatever. But I didn't really think too much. Yeah, I didn't really like, okay, what is this? What does it do? And isn't it more common for like in the Asian culture to do that as far as doing the cupping, but then doing the actual flame inside of it?
Definitely, it's common in cultures across the board, man. I think it's in the Middle East, in Latin America. In Asian cultures, like it's common worldwide. Why? Because it works. It's been around for thousands of years. They even say it might have originated from ancient Egypt. Like there's so many theories, but at the end of the day, it's still in practice after all these years because it works. It helps increase circulation to that area. It helps decompress any nerve that might be trapped, and with the movement, it helps to heal that dysfunctional tissue. And it also just brings awareness to your body, like where you feel like tension, like, oh crap, like there's some tightness right there. But I don't use the flame or the glass. That's like the traditional way of doing it. I do know how to do it that way, but it's more practical to use a pump, and it's just it's safer.
Yeah. What are some of, like, as far as the things that you would say are the benefits of cupping, right? Like you get down to the nitty gritty of it, right? You mentioned blood circulation, but is it something where you could use it, because most commonly use it on your back, right?
Right.
But I saw you use it on someone's
Quads,
thigh, a quad. So could that be used anywhere? Or?
I mean, it's pretty free game. I don't do it on the glutes for obvious reasons, but you can do it on the chest. You could do it on your core. You could do it on your deltoid, your forearms, even under the foot, like anywhere you can stick. Yeah, for plantar fasciitis. As long as you can. And I have different cups too. Like I have the flat ones, which are the common ones, and I have curved ones. So for specific areas. If you can stick it on there, bro, like you're but you got to incorporate the movement. The movement is important. Like I don't do cupping without incorporating the movement, because that's like the cherry on top. That's when you're doing the movement is when you're gain competence. It's kind of like a higher level of cupping, I would say.
Okay. So, saying all of that, right? What would you say, like, the philosophy to root healing is, right? You had something that you mentioned on one of your IG posts, and it was very interesting. But I don't want to give away the answer. But what in your terms, what is the philosophy to root healing?
Right. So to me, root healing is getting down to the root, the cause, the source. Like basically going beyond a superficial level and going to a deeper level of understanding of the human body. And it's not like, okay, my neck hurts, let's work on the neck. Like, no, why is my neck hurting?
Right.
What am I doing to cause this pain? And that can mean like releasing specific muscles, and also not even just releasing, but strengthening other muscles that are, because sometimes what happens in the body is that there's an imbalance, and you overcompensate with some muscles, and some muscles are just not firing,
Yeah.
They're not working. So my practice is just about getting deep, not chasing pain, but understanding rather the system, and not necessarily just trying to focus on the symptoms, because pain could be a symptom of a deeper dysfunction, and that's the root. And that's,
So pretty much, to sum it up, awareness
of your body, 100%.
So, where do you feel like you want to take this in the next couple of years? Like you mentioned that, you just recently, in the last 3 years, you would say you've gained kind of not a master, right? Like you said, but nobody's perfect, but
Exactly.
you've gained probably a good amount of kind of knowledge that, okay, like you're pretty damn good at this, right? So where do you see root healing going from here?
Man.
Or what's some of your goals as far as, where you want to take it?
I mean, I definitely want to start creating more content, like videos. I do want to maybe come out with like a video series of stretching, mobility. Yeah. There you go. Man, there's so much that I want to do. Right now, I'm pretty comfortable where I'm at. Like, I'm just very humbled that I have my own office. And honestly, that was like a dream that for it to be a reality now is crazy. It's mind blowing. So, I mean, I don't want to take it to a point where it's like large scale, like a franchise. Like, I don't want to take away from the quality of my practice, because I feel like quality over quantity is important. But I do want to eventually start training other people and teaching them my methods, teaching them my skills, so that more people have access worldwide.
All right, so we're gonna wrap up the podcast here. So where can people get a session with you, Jesus?
Yeah. I mean, if you want to follow me on Instagram, my Instagram is root_healing. So that's ROOT_HEALING, root healing. And, if you have any questions, you can always send me a DM. I'm really good at responding. It doesn't matter if it's just like, you just want to say hi. I'm not the type of person that's going to like ignore you, like for real. Like, and all my clients know. Yeah. Like all my clients know, like once you book a session with me, honestly, you have a friend for life. And, I have clients that I worked on maybe like 2 years ago, and I haven't seen them since, but they ask me questions, which I'm totally fine answering. A lot of people are like, oh, it's my time and blah, blah, blah. But you got to keep in mind that when you take on the path of a healer, money is never first. Healing is always first. And, so I definitely feel like it's important to continue that care, even if they're not coming through my doors. It's important to just provide that support to everyone.
Perfect. And so that would do it for the podcast. So we'll talk to Jesus on another one.
Thank you.
See you guys soon.
Thank you, guys.
Would you like to be on the podcast? Got something to talk about? Make sure to head over to the website at hardwoodrod.com. Leave your name and the topic you'd like to discuss, and I'll add you to the calendar.